Blog Talk Radio.
Lord Fame Mix.
I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks. Consciously woke, so they can't hang my neck. So I bought my black fist up in the air like it's my last chance. They say when it rain and pour, I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks. Consciously woke, so they can't hang my neck. So I bought my black fist up in the air like it's my last chance. Y'all ain't tired of this madness yet. Us as a people waking out the bed every day mad. Physically and mentally, out here just killing each other. Not thinking twice about these weeping mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. We gotta do better. According to the imagination, we don't hold down each other. And so they laugh at us every time they hang a brother. Whether it be in jail or from a tree or 6 feet under, yeah. We the cursed ones, that's what the Bible says. And I'm just one soul out here searching for that promised land. One thing for sure, another for certain. I will always put on one hell of a show, even behind the curtain. My life ain't perfect, it's far from easy. I just make it look like that. Trust and believe, people stab me in my back. They show real action. And I come back like the Lord doing resurrection. I love my family, and you can count on me. Yeah, I'm down to ride. I'm talking both sides for y'all. I will lay down and die. Middle finger up to the ones who think they got. Shh, moment of silence for our fallen stars. They say when it rain and pour, I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks. Consciously woke, so they can't hang my neck. So I bought my black fist up in the air like it's my last chance. They say when it rain and pour, I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks. Consciously woke, so they can't hang my neck. So I bought my black fist up in the air like it's my last chance. Time is gone, and yet our oppressors, they steady hating. Time is precious, but it ain't patient. You wanna be a man? Well, build a home instead of a crib. Don't call them kings your boys, won't you call them all your men? Stop calling your guns a toy, it's just a tool to protect your fam. Ooh, I hate you, Willie Lynch. Follow the pain for change, and not the Twitter. It's now or never, so find out who was rocking with you. To the atom of this world, King Giver of life. I wanna know how we can make this right. I pray for y'all morning, noon, and night. Hoping the world will wake up and just make up their mind. It's time to realize what you realize. So much wickedness up in the skies, and I'm so fed up, but I am still hungry for some more. We taking back what started. It's time to train for the war. 400 years of slavery, we've been stuck up in these chains. It's time to dry off, no more worries, get out the rain. And ain't no excuses for the nuisance. Since back then, they knew what they was doing. We got them hard times. When it rains. They say when it rain and pour, I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks. Consciously woke, so they can't hang my neck. So I bought my black fist up in the air like it's my last chance. They say when it rain and pour, I guess I'm getting wet. Single mom to three, but my life ain't about no checks.
The white society, the white police, we took it out on the closest thing near us, which was our black brothers. And this was a weak way of getting even with the white society, when all the time we was really just destroying our own neighborhoods. But if it wasn't for the riot, I don't think the black people would have came as far as they came. When the watch started, 65, the people started waking up. People started feeling a sense of pride. They stopped worrying about being called black niggas. They knew what they was. They knew they was a mass race of people that was coming into power. And they knew that the only way they could continue to come into power was stand together.
The change of consciousness that brought about the rise also brought new ways of thinking, new channels for old anger. The Cobras and the Vice Lords called a truce in 1964. The war was not renewed. The city burned, and old patterns of self-hate slowly began to disintegrate.
One hot July night in 1964, the Lords began to turn conservative. Bobby Gore remembers that leaders from 8 of the 26 groups were together in one of their usual hangouts. As Bobby Gore tells it, we were hanging around, shooting pool and sipping wine. Then one of the younger fellows said he wanted to take about 50 others on a fall. We asked him why and who he wanted to fall on. Had anyone misused him? His reply was that the older lords had made a name, and they wanted to keep it alive. We sat up all night, Bobby Gore said. We told them how we saw people begging not to be hit anymore with a baseball bat or chain, how guys got cut up, how the people and the police would hate their guts, and how they might be the ones that got killed. Finally, Bobby recalls, one of the younger fellows said, well, we got to do something. We can't get jobs. We're too old to go back to school. We're too big to play games. What else is there to do? That started the older leaders thinking. They decided to try to change the conditions that make a man get a gun and hold up a store, that make him drink scrap iron, cheap whiskey, to forget about the conditions in which he lives, that lead a guy to hustle dope and to leave a family he wants to support but cannot.
A number of things changed gangbang. Number one was civil rights. It started people thinking in different ways, in different directions than the old structure of gangbang. Because Cat found out, I can form a group now, do something about housing or do something about schooling. Number two, the militants come in. Cat said, why be a gangbang till each other, you can kill all hunkies? So really, the future changed gangbanging more so than anything else. What's happening now is that with what's going on here in the last, well, I'll say since the assassination of the king, a couple of years before the assassination of the king, is that black people have become aware what they're really up against, and they know that their fight is not among themselves, but of the outside. And it's really not a fight if the hierarchy would open up the doors enough to let these people share equally. A lot of white folks say, let them niggas pull themselves up by themselves, let them pull their own shoes up. But how the hell can you pull your shoes up when you ain't got no shoes on? And half your toes gone.
The rage black people had inflicted on each other began to turn outward towards a system that had robbed them of self-respect.
The rats and the roaches and the porch falling off the buildings with kids on them and this time. Ain't nobody never said nothing. So the way these hookers sit down in this place down there, they think, well, everything all right. Ain't nobody never said nothing. And when somebody did say nothing, it wasn't but a handful of them. But what I'm saying, that if we get together and say something, somebody gonna listen.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most beneficent, thee do we worship, thine aid we seek. Show us this great way, the way of those whom has bestowed thy grace. the way of those whom portions is not aroused and have gone not astray. Amen. Peace and Lord, peace and Lord. Y'all tune in to another episode of the Lord Business with your host, Lord Infinite, checking in live with you from Georgia. The Lord Business is up under the umbrella of visionary leaders of society as a program. Definitely we strive to implement those 12 steps throughout our demonstration. Those 12 steps kind of coincide with the one sentence. We strive to be the best for ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. Always and indefinitely in that order. So with those 12 steps, kind of break down 3 steps, sub-steps in between those steps. You know what I'm saying? It's posted on the page, and also wanted to put a reminder out there if y'all wanted to possibly be a great guest on the show or submit music for the show or whatever. Reach out to that page, inbox that page, and we'll go from there. Also, another announcement, we will have some more of the necklaces, pendants, and hopefully we'll get some information back about when it's shipping. Maybe it'll be next week or the week after that, but the order has already been placed. I know a lot of ones and one been seeking that information. But without further ado, on tonight's show, though, let's get back into the topic of the Lord Business. Want to do a special tribute to the Honorable Bobby Gore. You know what I'm saying? Our brother was born May 11, 1936. You know what I'm saying? Transition February 12, 2013. Going forward this year, our brother, beloved brother, be 84 years old. That's a lot of wisdom right there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet our brother, but I know some people that may call in, might have some story to share with us about our brother. And throughout the duration of the show, I'm going to hit y'all with a few more clips from our brother that we find in the archives on through the byways and highways. Definitely share those jewels with y'all. But going like this to give y'all a background to the people that's on the outside looking in, like under the leadership in conjunction still with the elder, but with Bobby Gore, he was able to secure a $250,000 Rockefeller grant through the for the Conservative Vice Law Incorporated, and it's definitely. What's the word? Definitely want to keep that disclaimer out there. Sometimes some boys see that, and we got to definitely push the message that Bobby Gore did not start a demonstration, though. But our brother did take it to a different level. We definitely want to give a homage to Pelt. You know what I'm saying? Definitely want to give homage to Pelt. But Bobby Gore, under that leadership, brother was able to get on the family $250,000 from the Rockefeller grant. And we talking about organizing. Them brothers already had an office with CBL Incorporated. These brothers had Tasty Free, the eye cream. These brothers had the African Lion clothing store. These brothers had Teen Town. Like these brothers had and sister, can't forget our sister, had a lot of property and stuff going on. And that's what we want, and that's what this show is about, honoring that legacy of doing that. That's why the title is like, what will Bobby Gore do? BG. And what's crazy though, BG my favorite rapper though, but I'm gonna get into like a first clip. After we hit y'all with these 2 clips, kind of back to back, 3-minute clip, but we're gonna open up the line. Everybody can add on to the conversation. Definitely wanna have a peaceful and positive conversation on the platform.
The Vice Lords were basically put together as a group. Now, we were fragmented in the early 50s. not having a real name in terms of vice lords or anything like that. We started off as a social athletic club, like most of the so-called gangs that they started out. The only thing that we didn't have malt shops. We didn't have recreation halls where we can go and socialize and learn to cook, learn to read, different things like that. We had what they call bare bones, denominated in terms of putting groups together. Some guys did well, some guys didn't. We got out when I'll call a couple of names, Peblo, or we had a guy named we used to call Shotgun. We had another guy we used to call Tex, nicknames or whatnot. When they went into St. Charles, they formed a bond because there were some problems in terms of South Side, West Side, North Side. So these guys bonded together, and they found out through their endeavors that there is some power here. We can get certain little perks out of this situation. Maybe 4 or 5 of the guys worked in the laundry, 2 or 3 of them maybe worked in the kitchen, this kind of thing. So naturally, being West Side, look out for these guys. You only get 1 biscuit, you only get a biscuit and a half, these kind of things. So they had control of maybe the laundry, maybe the athletic equipment, et cetera, et cetera. And when they were released from St. Charles, they brought this thing to the street. Okay, and as a result of that, they started recruiting. People were out in the street just like they were, no identity. They felt unloved. They were, in essence, nobody. Everybody wants to be recognized as somebody, like Reverend Jesse Jackson. I am somebody. I may be poor, I may be whatever it is, but I am somebody. I'm a human being. I want no less nor no more than anybody else has, or what I can accomplish given my skills in terms of trying to build, whether it's a business or maybe just learning how to be a plumber or whatever. I want to do the same thing that everybody else wants to do, and that's to earn enough money to take care of my family, if in fact I have a family when I get.
Yeah, peace and love, peace and love. Y'all back live with us on the Lord's Business show and platform, which y'all just heard. That was definitely a special clip from the Honorable Bobby Gore. And I don't know, just hearing the vibe and what he was speaking about, how he was demonstrating, like a lot of times in our community, like when we face on the front lines of organizing our people, doing what's right for our people, and we fighting the gen of the opposing forces, especially when you're trying to do right. Like when you're trying to do something negative, it's so easy and abundantly as far as the support to do that. But on the flip side, on the right, so what the brother was saying, like helping brother, like you gotta be hands on. Like you gotta be hands on, like for like it's a family thing. You gotta feel that, like that's my brother. Like when you I'm gonna play this other clip, family, and we'll just digress with everything, and then pretty much we'll open the lines up after that.
We had what was called the African line, and that was dealing basically with our culture. We had what they called the Kufis, the Darshikis, the little fans and stuff, the bull tails, flop the flies out your face and all this. And this was some of the things that we exchanged with some of the other groups in terms of whatever they were doing in the garment business. We would exchange people and we learned from each other. All right, we had 2 Tasty Freeze parlors, okay? We had what was known as Simone Cosmetic, which was a cosmetic endeavor for blacks. Okay, Sammy Davis Jr. funded the seed money. He fronted the seed money to get that up off the ground. We had what was called the West Side Paper Stock Company. We were the first, well, I won't say people that thought of this, but in terms of the gang situation, we were the first ones that came up with a real proposal in terms of recycling paper. And our thing was to work through the schools, have the school kids bring the papers in, and whichever classroom came up with the most papers, you know, they would get free lunches for a week or something of that nature. Or if the school produced such and such we had X amount of money set aside for them to get books or whatever. We had what's called the House of Lords. We had 2 of those. These were teen hang-ins to keep the police from arresting these guys on the corner. During school hours, the place was closed. Okay, 2 hours after school is out, that was all dedicated to homework. We had tutors inside the place for reading, writing, and so forth and so on. After 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, then the games. They had the little rifles that you could shoot. They played the pool, they played the ping pong, you know, cards, checkers, chess, that kind of thing. Then we had the management training program, where we got a substantial group of young men together to learn management training in terms of the businesses that we had. And that money came through Youth Action, which was a department of an offshoot of the Labor Department. So they did train 20 of our teams in youth management, business management. Then we had Malcolm X GED program. This was during the time Malcolm X. Anybody that wanted to go and try to get a GED. And in the side, this proposal, we, back in the mid-60s, the mid-60s, asked why the schools couldn't stay open at night and be utilized in terms of parenting skills and, home economics or whatever it is, in terms of the older people that had kids to utilize the building. It's open 5 hours a day and it's closed the rest of the time. And we're saying, let's put this to some kind of use. And we asked the Board of Education to help us develop some programs for these hours. It was a no good idea at the time, but now they're trying to.
Yo, peace and love. Like y'all, that was part of an excerpt, a few clips that I found online as far as in relation to our beloved brother Bobby Gore. Man, the brother was a visionary. Like I don't know about y'all, but me personally, but I was just hearing about that last clip. And I'm going to digress and also to the listening audience, if at any time y'all wanted to chime in, but just press one. It's hard to do that from the virtual world, like the website, but you're going to have to call in if you want to speak on this topic. But so, yeah, the brother was just in that last clip breaking down all of the different businesses that they was able to secure. And the brother was speaking about business in a sense, like, man, who really did think about that? Like, at that time, like, brother was thinking about our school only open like 5 hours a day, like from 8 to 3 or whatnot. He was just saying it like that. Like, they were trying to create a program that would allow one to utilize the school during outside of those hours, like whether for craft or building or some type out of school. But it was like it got denied right now, but that's something to look into. Like when we talking about building, man, that brother definitely put on that suit and tie as far as like organizing and building on the positive path, truly on that golden path, and definitely forever tilt that hat up to that brother. You know what I'm saying? We have some definitely hat to that brother Bobby Gore. But I'm gonna hit y'all with another clip. Gonna let that ride for a few more. It's a few minutes long. But they're basically going into generations of the CVL Link and speaking from individuals that felt like they were directly influenced by Bobby to that extent. But peace and love.
This clip shows Sonny Fletcher introducing Ivory Dillard, the next generation of West Side youth who were inspired by the 1960s Vice Lords. Ivory talks about the problems of today's youth, how hard it is to change, and the courage that he's shown in turning his life around, and how important it is to take up the path of Bobby Gore and the Vice Lords shown in the movie Lord Thing.
I'm the generation after Bobby and them, those guys you've seen on TV. And he's the generation after me.
So y'all just loosen up. I did it all. Sold drugs, I did it all, and I had fun. It was good getting that money, but it didn't last. The lawyers came in, they want theirs. Police catch you, they want theirs. So really it didn't do no good for nobody. But I had fun because I didn't know that it was going to all end. I thought I could keep doing it forever. And when they went to jail, they left with no leadership. So we didn't know what to do. We were stuck out there. We was on our own. Everybody had to learn from somebody else. And all the leaders was in jail, just like now. The way Mayor Daley doing it now, they're putting all the leaders in jail. So people say, man, why is crime going up? Because they tore down the project, and once they tore down the project, they took all the bad people from the project, they saved, and moved them in the little suburbs and the little small towns. Now, all those people never been in them small towns. People leaving their doors open, the stores, you got stuff all outside. Them people just stealing. Them people doing whatever they want to do. And y'all think, I wonder why crime going up in this neighborhood. Because they took them people from the project and put them in them neighborhoods. They didn't take them to school, they teach them nothing. So what they know? How to steal, how to rob, and how to be murderers. Because that's what we taught to survive. In the project, you taught how to live, to push the next guy out the way. To get that food, you better get it somebody else gonna get it. Who gonna get it, me or him? Both of us got to live. He stayed next door to me and I stayed right here. We was taught to fight each other. That's how we grew up. That's all we knew. And go on and go on. Till somebody sat down, educate themselves. Because ain't nobody gonna educate you out here. You have to educate yourself. That's what I learned. But to make a long story short, they put me in one of their books, say I was a chief, and I did this, and I did that. But they never tried to educate me. They never tried to help me turn my life around. I found that when I started going in and out the penitentiary, doing 4 or 5 years straight. That's how I found out. I found out on my own. Didn't nobody teach me nothing. I taught myself. What we're doing today is we're trying to change it. We got together after doing all this time, after being foolish thinking, after nobody really guiding us, holding our hand and walking with us, trying to show us nothing. We trying to turn the cycle now. But now we got still a small problem. It's no funding. It's no money for no program. So what we have to do, we have to go out into the neighborhood. And we have to, man, y'all be cool. Don't do this and don't do that. You know how hard it is sometimes to do that? All the struggle that I did do, I refuse to turn around. I refuse to go back to the street and sell drugs again. I pray now more in my life for somebody else's family than my own. They know what they're going to do to me. They can't do number one thing. That's kill me. Other than that, what else can they do to me? If they lock me up, I bet them. What else can they do? Nothing but kill me. So I'm already facing my reality. There's nothing else they can do. So now I have to try to save somebody else. I have to try to save their family. Now you need a job and a hustle. So what I do is I got a big red pickup truck. So I started hustling and selling drugs. I get my truck, and sometime on the weekend I move people's furniture and stuff like that because I had to change a life. Because somebody believed enough in me to give me a chance. Just like John, he gave me a chance. I met John through Sunday. Me, I was on the streets. Street life was good to me. Only thing I hated, not the hurting the people, that was okay to me because half of them deserved it anyway. That's what I thought. Because that's what it makes you think. You have an empire, and you making money. You have to protect your money. This is what they teach us. Like everybody now. You have to protect your goods. You have to protect your family. And the drug life, that's your family. That's your livelihood. That's all you have. So if you don't protect it, then everybody's going to take it from you. And if you let somebody come in and take what you got, then you don't need it no way. You don't deserve it. What can you do for it? If you're willing to fight for it, if you're willing to die for it, then you deserve it. But if you think, will it be all worth it? Who are you hurting? Who is suffering behind it? Then that's when you can make that change. But you have to get somewhere where you can sit down to be able to educate yourself. Because ain't nobody going to educate you. Ain't nobody going to make you go to school. It wasn't my choice. If I would have had a choice, I would have been a good kid. But I grew up in the projects. So how good can I be? They taking your money, taking your bikes. You had to fight. So it wasn't my choice. So I just played the hand that was dealt to me. Now I got a better hand after so long. Mm-hmm. He ain't the same person. We together now, and hopefully everything works out fine.
Can you guys say how we're going to show this movie and reach out to a lot of the younger kids that are the fourth generation here, right? Mm-hmm. How's that going to help? Why is showing a movie about the Vice Lords before? How's that going to help? Like, there's a lot of violence on the West Side. How does this help?
So people is going to change, John. You think things going to stay the same? Most people is getting tired. You know why they're getting tired, John? People is tired of living the way that they live. So they have to make a change. They're being forced to make a change.
Yeah, definitely. We can respect that. Like, sometimes, like, in the midst of that chaos, when you put with your head against the grindstone, you forced to make that change. You make that drastic change, and that'd be the bad thing that happened to you in your life. But for y'all that chiming in right now, we giving an honorary tribute to the Honorable Bobby Gore. That's what we're doing on that line right here, right now. Show, you know what I'm saying, we cut off at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We start this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pretty much they're going to be like a brief rotation. We're going to be having conversations and dialogue. That's just to explain the platform. But in case you were wondering, the listening audience, like, it's no big guys, no little U's on that platform. This ain't really about what your status is, what your rank is. We coming to you naked, like on these lines, in a sense. So you coming to you a man first. You coming as a woman first. Like, when we have these conversations, it's ain't about lowering nobody or nothing like that. So in light of that, let me get into another clip from the Brother Benny Lee.
All right, how you doing, brother? Say something real quick? This demonstration is going on. Well, you call me no more, Nunu. I got what I can. What you gotta say? Yeah, man, I'm proud of what we got going on, man. I know this demonstration is going in the right direction. All sorts of things going on. So we're resurrecting the spirit of Bobby, and that's really important. Bringing back what we had from the 50s back now. So we're bearing witness to a reoccurring or a reincarnated situation to bring back what 2212 stands for as a nation. So I think that's mighty and that's powerful. And peace and love to everybody that came out. Peace and love, bro. And you are taking with him a hand.
You don't mind, can I get a reaction from some of you students here, interns, on what you think about the presentation. Any of you students or interns, get your reaction. Some of your thoughts. No comment.
Excuse me, can you repeat that one more time?
My name is Rob, and I'm very thankful to be here today. Appreciate that you're so welcoming and a lot of powerful words and also take with me today.
All right. Yeah.
All right. What my take on it pretty much was where you start off from doesn't have to be your end destination. You can intend on doing the wrong thing, but eventually change your mind and go on a different path. Because we're not bad people as Vice Lord. We're people just like everyone else. And perception is reality. We have to change the people's perception of how they look at us for it to become a reality. Because if they don't see anything different, they still gonna think we doing the same thing.
I know you're that sharp, brother. That's my
Well, let me say this from experience. You know, as you move in life and you elevate in life, you're still going to be tagged. You're still going to be discriminated against. You're still going to be stereotyped and judged. You know, I became a member of the Black Lord Nation back in 1965. 1965. And, I did 3 years on death row. I was charged with 15 counts of murder, two attempted murder, and mob rape. And a majority of my witnesses were vice lords. I had to live that down. You know, my mother lived on the block over here that named after her. On her very doorstep, my little 8-year-old nephew was gunned down by a vice lord. I had to live that down. You know, I went on, came out. When I come out the joint the last time, I was 30. Had never worked a day in my life. Never had a Social Security card. But I went on to sit in a GED class with a bunch of kids laughing at the questions I was asking, calling me Papa. I refrained from hitting one of them little mobs in the eye. Yeah. But I had to persevere a lot. You know, my very first job, guys calling me a stool pigeon because I wouldn't steal out the warehouse. Wouldn't get high on my lunch break because I was serious about finishing parole for once in my life. I had to refrain from robbing the joint, sticking everybody up because I was made to feel. So I'm just saying, as you climb the ladder and you try to make this path, this righteous path, it can be a very lonely walk. And when I was making that transformation, it was other vice lords that was laughing at me. That shit ain't gonna work. Why you doing that? I remember running the Challenger and DJ, they said, man, you sound like a white boy. Because I'm not talking all that tobacco in my mouth. You get me, you understand? All that's gone. So now they judge it. So it's going to become a very lonely walk when you try to do this here. But don't get it twisted. When Bobby Gore and them first started moving toward conservative vice lord corporation, it was a handful of them. All the other vice lords are still robbing, getting high. That's why they got the bad publicity they get. All vice lords wasn't part of that. Be clear about that. Just like what y'all doing now, all of them ain't gonna get on board. And society is a non-giving society. Now, I went on to get a GED, finally, became a certified drug abuse counselor, got a degree in criminal mental health and substance abuse. I've been a director of the program to work with ex-offenders who got drug problems. I've been a regional director. Got a master's degree in leadership development and education. Got a bachelor's degree in inner city studies. I'm a professor at a university, but I still get labeled as a vice lord. Can't shake it. So I'm saying to you, you're going to get discouraged along the way, and it's going to be by your own. Because see, that's what change is all about, is learning how to detach from those that don't hold you back. My biggest struggle in the beginning was with my own brother. Been to the joint 6 times. Because I told him he needed to get some dope out of my mama's house and some pistols. Because he was jeopardizing them and their home. He looked at me like I lost my mind. How many of y'all done violated your parents' home? Because he used to me being up on it. But when I started changing, started setting new boundaries, he looked at me like I done lost my mind. He wanted to come in my house high, strapped up. I'm like, no, you can't come around my kids like that. He looked like I done betrayed him. And I started seeing other brothers and they want to jump in my car. And I know he just probably robbed somebody that nobody else. No, you can't get in my car. You're a detriment to me. I'm driving with you. Ain't no telling who might shoot this car with you in it. You got to set these kind of boundaries. So if you ain't ready to set them kind of boundaries, on the sake of, but he one of the people, he cool with me. And all it takes here in Chicago, all it takes is me to be driving here to where I'm going to my grandson's birthday party and run across the brother. Oh, Billy, why don't you give me a lift? I can let him in my car and see if my back brake light didn't work. The police pull me over. He gets to fidgeting, talking about he got a pistol on him and all that stuff. Who car they gonna pawn and tow and all that stuff? Not his. Whose father gonna end up back in jail? Not his children, because it's in my name. So I gotta fall out with a lot of people to set those kind of boundaries. You follow what I'm saying? All right, so I offer this here to all of y'all. If you don't have a vision on how you would like to look like to you 5 years from now, you need to start thinking about it. See, having a vision forces you to set goals. Goals determine who you should be associated with and who you shouldn't be associated with. Goals determine what you should be doing every day and what you shouldn't be doing. But you got to have it. And them goals give you something to thrive for. If you want to get your record seal, a record expunged, or clemency, then there's some things you got to do. You got to avoid getting arrested. You got to become crime-free. You got to be drug-free. You got to do those things. You got to be employed. You got to complete school. So when that file go in front of that committee to decide if you're going to get your record seal, they want to see what have you done since you've been home. Some things you got to do, it ain't just going to happen. So I offer this here. Whatever your goals is, whatever your vision is, the main thing you got to do if you live in a town like Chicago where people getting killed every hour on the hour, you got to stay alive. Here in Chicago, I got to master how do I stay alive. I can't get killed. So I think a lot of humbling walking in the stores, a young brother blocking the doorway, thinking like I'm bogus because I'm asking them to excuse me. And that old gangster in me want to raise up and like, man, you know, but I know when I cross that line, there ain't going to be no fight. He might as well come out the jury he got on, give me the keys to this car, get off this corner. Right? That's the part of me that's still inside of me. But I got to practice how to keep that part of me dead, man. And play the bigger picture, because what I do is going to impact a whole lot of people. You follow what I'm saying? And the second thing, to reach your goals, you got to avoid getting arrested. You ain't going to reach your goals locked up. So you got to think about, can you get killed hanging with certain people? In certain places, doing certain things. Can you get arrested hanging with certain people in certain places, certain things? And the third thing is, you ain't going nowhere high. All a high is you inhale a substance to put in your body, and it alters your mind and damages brain cells. That's what a high is. And when it's all over, that brain is still damaged. Right? So I use your own language. I just focus just on your hat. How many y'all believe in the hat, cane, the gloves, 5-point star, all that stuff? Y'all believe in that? I'll just stick with the hat. What is it? The shelter over your head so you clears your mind. But the key thing is to stop allowing your physical cravings, like your anger, your lust, your greed, your envy, control how you act. So learn how to think as a man, put mind over mind. But you got to master being a man and a woman of your word. Some of y'all probably broke your word to yourself this morning. Some of y'all probably had some plans you're going to do today, and thus far you probably broke your word already today. How many of y'all go through a day and violate your own word you take for yourself? So See, we got a master being a man and woman of our word. Not just to ourselves, but to other people. And that's what that's about, living authentic. Because a lot of us function inauthentic. And we say things like, keep it real with me. But we ain't real with ourselves.
Yo, peace and love. Y'all back live with us on the Lord Business show. And fortunately, we kind of came to the point about to get ready to close out this show right here. It was a real successful and powerful show. Y'all to be able to revisit the archives. It's going to be up on YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, all that good stuff right there. Before we go, I'm going to play those 2 clips from Bobby Gore that we played earlier, and then we're going to wrap up the show.
The Vice Lords were basically put together as a group. Now, we were framing it in the early 50s. Not having a real name in terms of Vice Lords or anything like that. We started off as a social athletic club, like most of the so-called gangs that they started out. The only thing that we didn't have malt shops. We didn't have recreation halls where we can go and socialize and learn to cook, learn to read, different things like that. We had what they call bare bones, denominated in terms of putting groups together. Some guys did well, some guys didn't. We got out when I'll call a couple of names, Peblo, or we had a guy named we used to call Shotgun. We had another guy we used to call Tex, nicknames or whatnot. When they went into St. Charles, they formed a bond because there were some problems in terms of South Side, West Side, North Side. So these guys bonded together, and they found out through their endeavors that there is some power here. We can get, certain little crooks out of this situation. Maybe 4 or 5 of the guys worked in the laundry, 2 or 3 of them maybe worked in the kitchen, this kind of thing. So naturally, being the West Side, look out for these guys. You only get 1 biscuit, you only get a biscuit and a half, these kind of things. So they had control of maybe the laundry, maybe the athletic equipment, et cetera, and when they were released from St. Charles, they brought this thing to the street, okay? And as a result of that, they started recruiting. People were out in the street just like they were, no identity. They felt unloved. They were, in essence, nobody. Everybody wants to be recognized as somebody, like Reverend Jesse Jackson. I am somebody. I may be poor, I may be whatever it is, but I am somebody. I'm a human being. I want no less nor no more than anybody else has, or what I can accomplish given my skills in terms of trying to build, whether it's a business or maybe just learning how to be a plumber or whatever. I want to do the same thing that everybody else wants to do, and that's to earn enough money to take care of my family, if in fact I have a family when I get. We had what was called the African line, and that was dealing basically with our culture. We had what they called the Kufis, the Darshikis, the little fans and stuff, the bull tails, swap the flies out your face and all this. And this was some of the things that we exchanged with some of the other groups in terms of whatever they were doing in the garment business. We would exchange people and we learned from each other. All right, we had 2 Tasty Freeze parlors, okay? We had what was known as Simone Cosmetic, which was a cosmetic endeavor for blacks. Okay, Sammy Davis Jr. funded the seed money. He fronted the seed money to get that up off the ground. We had what was called the West Side Paper Stock Company. We were the first, well, I won't say people that thought of this, but in terms of the gang situation, we were the first ones that came up with a real proposal in terms of recycling paper. And our thing was to work through the schools, have the school kids bring the papers in, and whichever classroom came up with the most papers, you know, they would get free lunches for a week or something of that nature. Or if the school produced such and such, we had X amount of money set aside for them to get books or whatever. We had what's called the House of Lords. We had 2 of those. These were teen hangings to keep the police from arresting these guys on the corner. During school hours, the place was closed. Okay, 2 hours after school is out, that was all dedicated to homework. We had tutors inside the place for reading, writing, and so forth and so on. After 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, then the games. They had the little rifles that you could shoot. They played the pool, they played the ping pong, you know, cards, checkers, chess, that kind of thing. Then we had the management training program, where we got a special group of young men together to learn management training in terms of the businesses that we had. And that money came through Youth Action, which was a department of an offshoot of the Labor Department. So they did train 20 of our teams in youth management, business management. Then we had Malcolm X GED program. This was during the time of Malcolm X. Anybody that wanted to go and try to get a GED. And in the side was proposal we back in the mid-60s, the mid-60s, asked why the schools couldn't stay open at night and be utilized in terms of parenting skills and, you know, home economics or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the older people that had kids to utilize the building. I mean, it's open 5 hours a day and it's closed the rest of the time. And we're saying, let's put this to some kind of use. And we asked the Board of Education to help us develop some programs for these hours. It was a no good idea at the time, but how they're trying to do.
Yeah, peace and love. Peace and love. Y'all came to the end of the show, and like we normally do, we pray out. So, in the name of the Heavenly Father, we come to you with an open heart, bow our head, asking you for strength, asking you for forgiveness. Whatever we going through, whatever you placed on our heart, we want you to remove that. We want to be able to tackle that. We want to be able to take off the burdens off our shoulder, Lord. We want to be able to move forward and demonstrate accordingly, like take care of our business. We want to be able to take care of our family. We praying for nourishment to be able to feed ourselves properly. Praying for the tools and guidance to do those things. Want to continue to live and raise your name. In the name of the Most High, we say amen.